Everyone, and welcome back to our channel where we talk everything and anything SEO and marketing. Today I have a fantastic guest, Shemek. He is a titan when it comes to link building. He works for WordPress, which is one of the marketplaces that help us run better. Highly recommend it if you don't know where to get your links. Shemek, welcome to my channel. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for inviting. I'm fine. I'm so happy to be invited.
I saw several of your presentations and I always get inspired, and you always share so much because you see the whole picture. You are not just a operator buying links. You are not just an admin selling links. And I think you can bring all the picture together how links work. So how does it work when you are an important person in a link building like you?
Well,
Somebody who see all of the picture. Can you explain it to us? Like, how does it work in a perfect balance?
okay. So first of all, I should say that I'm not an SEO person. So I can really see three perspectives, like SEO perspective and let's say publisher's perspective and the marketplace perspective, which WordPress is. But definitely, I'm not an SEO guy, so I'm not going to say anything about the how links are working, if it's working or not working. That's what SEO people know better than me. I just had the privilege to observe the projects on many markets. If we are talking about projects, we are talking about 40,000 projects per year, which we are doing. So I think I get quite a good, let's say, point of view to observe how things are going on across the markets. And of course, I would like to share with you some information. Of course, I would like to provide some information to our viewers because I expect that many of them have no chance even to see it from this perspective, to have this idea how things are going on behind the SEO, behind SEO metrics.
True. I mean, we either buy links or sell links, but we don't know everything. And links are important. We all know it. Google is authority everything. And what I find always funny is that I think some link is amazing and I would go for it. And my friend would be like, no, that's shit. So I'm sure you see this as well. But give us the three perspectives altogether. I think that's very interesting. And I think that's something that most people don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about who are the stakeholders in this process. So first of all, clients. So we can talk about clients who are SEO people or the agencies who are working for SEO. Anyway, they know perfectly SEO. Let's say they should know at least perfectly the SEO, and they should know what they do. I'm not in a position to judge. I'm observing sometimes really strange behavior, strange requirements, but it's not on me. I'm the person who should deliver, and this means we jumping to the second point of view, which is the provider point of view, right? Provider means either the owner of the domain or the marketplace like WordPress or other marketplaces who are, let's say, participating in this process to combine requests from the client with the demand from the publisher. Publisher is the third party of this process. So we call the publishers the ones who own the domains, right? So the ones who are able to publish the article, guest posting, link insertion, or brand mention according to the client requirements. So we got all those three elements which need to be combined and balanced in order to deliver the successful project.
And you work with lots of other industries. You are not just iGaming, right? Am I saying that right?
Yes, it's true. iGaming was important part of our business. However, due to regulations, I must say that we are reducing our presence in this industry because it's hard and harder to sell backlinks for iGaming.
Oh yeah, I think we're all seeing it because even if you want to buy link, you find something that is on offer, and then they come back to you saying, "Oh, sorry, the target was rejected. Sorry, they changed their policies and they are not working with casino anymore." So where is
Well,
this frustration coming from?
I think this rejection in numbers is it means that the regular rejection rate for regular offers is like 2.7, while for iGaming the rejections ratio was 6.7. So you see it's much more higher, right? And it of course it makes clients frustrated. It makes also us disappointed because we cannot close the deal. But that's how it's going on, right? More and more publishers rejecting the offers regarding the iGaming, mostly because of licensing. And this is crucial nowadays. If you do not have a license for certain country, of course you can find the publisher who will publish. But those who are, let's say, well known, who are famous, who have really good metrics, which we are all looking for, it will be hard for them to publish this kind of content. And it's not their fault. We should not blame them. It's just because of the regulation. And they risk a lot because we know it from our perspective. We also have been supervised by governmental authorities because of publishing the iGaming content. And if there is no license, it means that someone is participating in the kind of illegal operations, right? Even if SEO person is not thinking in that way about publishing the link, still from the publisher perspective, publishing the content regarding the illegal iGaming is a kind of promoting illegal iGaming, and it can be punished. And it's not the end of the story. This is just the beginning, because what does it mean? For first of all, you can lose the link which you already purchased, right? Because if the publisher is banned or if the publisher is forced to remove the links, you are losing the link, you are losing the money. But also, the clients who are from regular sectors, not from sensitive niches, they are also losing their publication in case publisher is banned. So from the publisher point of view, it's like a double risk, right? One, I can lose my income from iGaming, and I can also lose my income from the other sectors. Moreover, a lot of regular clients, they do not want to publish on the sites where iGaming is already promoted. So they want us to exclude the publishers who are offering iGaming publications, and it means that for publisher it's even lower income because they are excluded from the list to regular clients. So a lot of point of view regarding just one issue, small issue like publishing the links for iGaming.
That's actually true. I had a finance client and they were so strict. There was like, we don't want links where it's nothing, no adult, no iGaming, but
True.
it's
True.
very difficult to find. You know what I mean? Like it's almost impossible. And then I find as well many times like, okay, we will do your iGaming link, but it's gonna be no index, no follow, like completely missing the point of link building. So these
Yes.
regulations, are there certain countries you see that more than in others? I would guess maybe Holland would be quite restricted, or Poland, or which countries do you think are more restricted when it comes to publishing
Okay.
iGaming SEO links?
Generally, all countries, they have more or less all countries have a own regulation. Um, Generally, in each country there is a list of officially licensed casino. So, for example, that's what we implemented in the system. So if you start the project, you will be checked by the system if you are already on the list, on the let's say white list or black list. If you are on the black list, you cannot publish. Regarding the countries, uh, small countries like Slovenia are blocking it. Hungary is also influencing some problems. So there is a lot of countries which have their own regulation. I wouldn't focus on the ones which are really, let's say, very strict. Within Europe, almost every market has some restriction and regulations. And the weird thing is that even if we have the Malta license, which is well known in the industry, still publishers from the certain country do not want to publish. They expect the client will have the license directly from their country. So one thing is just being strict about licensing. Another thing is understanding of the licensing from the publisher point of view.
It is a problem because I many times run into problems. We want to publish a link and we have got, let's say, Curacao license or MGA license. And I was like, no, you need to have local license. I'm like, there is no local license in Norway. There just simply does not exist. So how do you explain them? It does not exist. I think it's very frustrating. And I think link building is becoming more difficult. It's becoming more of a legal game than SEO game.
Uh, that's true. At the end of the day, publisher is taking the whole risk. So we need to convince him, right? And if we got the good arguments, if we can show that, look, the other publishers are publishing and so on, that's the client is really a legal client with good reputation, usually they agree. But if they have a mindset that they would like to keep away from this type of businesses, nothing will change their mind. Even if the prices are much more higher for publishing the iGaming content than the regular content.
That's another thing I wanted to touch up on because 1 year ago you were in Malta giving us presentation about how link building works and how it's frustrating that the prices for iGaming simply double, triple, sometimes even more. Do you think it's because of all of these regulations, or it is because they hear casino, they have money, let's just charge them? or is
Exactly.
it mixture of both?
Exactly. The proof that it's not about regulation is that it applies to other sectors as well, not only to iGaming, also to forex, to cryptocurrencies, to loans, to CBD, erotic content. So if they find that the potential client is much more engaged in link building and is much more engaged in SEO, the SEO is giving him much more traffic than for regular clients. They know that they can charge more. That's how it works. Simply.
Do you know, plus minus off top of your head, how much it differs? What is the multiplier for iGaming?
Yeah, I prepared the numbers, and
Cool.
of course, it depends on the DR. We can say that the high DR and the low DR, the differences are not that big. But for the average DR, it's from 182 to 287% difference comparing regular offer to the iGaming offer.
82 to 200. What? That's a
87.
lot. I thought
Yeah.
that is a lot. I didn't expect that. Wow. So almost
Yeah.
300 there.
Yep.
Okay, so you're if you're
That's
in
a lot.
iGaming, prepare money for links.
Um, well, I mentioned at the beginning that there are three perspectives: SEO,
Mm.
publishers, and there are also the perspective of the marketplace like WordPress. And it's really not the good thing for us that the links are expensive. Of course, one may say, well, you earn more money because the price is higher. But in fact, selling something which is three times more expensive, it's not that easy, right? So it also reducing our turnover, our benefits in case of selling such products. So we are more or less on the same side like SEO people. We would like the links to be in reasonable prices, I would say, and to be easy to sell. But sometimes publishers are giving such a high prices, and we can do nothing about it because the market is more or less governed by the publishers. In fact,
It is true. They hold all the power because
and
SEOs need links. Everybody wants more links and better links and more original links. The poor person looking for links has a very tough job finding something new and original and negotiating the price. And then in the end, the client still says, no, it's expensive. So yeah, they have all the power. It's true. Never
yes,
realized it till today.
and even more power nowadays because, as you know, for AI tools, not only links are important but also brand mentions, right? Brand mention is something without links included, so publishers can do more and more of such publications without influencing their let's say ratio of incoming and outgoing links, right. So in this case they even see more option to monetize their web pages, and it's not necessary with links.
So would the publishers that would reject selling a link to iGaming, would they at least sell a mention, or there would
No,
still be a no?
no. It's still the topic is still
Okay.
iGaming, and they are still promoting the iGaming, so it's the same problem. But again, I wouldn't say the big issue for legal casino. The main challenge is for affiliates, for example, since they don't
Okay.
have any license at all. They are featuring a lot of different casinos, and they, of course, they do not have papers for each of those featured casinos. And in this case, publishers are really strict. They simply say no. Of course, we are talking always about regular publishers. We are not talking about PBNs, which can publish almost everything, right?
That's why we still buy PBNs because it still works. And that's, I think, why we see an increase of PBNs coming back and companies starting to build their own PBNs. Because if you are an affiliate and nobody wants to sell your links, then what you
So
gonna do? You still need to rank.
we are just jumping to the SEO perspective, which I'm definitely not that expert. You are the
Yes.
expert, so you
Okay.
know if it works or not. But I can share with you some example. Just 1 week ago, I was presenting the presentation during SEO Mastery Summit in Saigon regarding also the online authority. And preparing for this presentation, I examined 48,000 links, which were not to the iGaming industry, but to the companies from the forex and the forex brokers industry. And out of those 48,000 links, only 12% were the links which can be really sold or which clients would like to pay for. So with the metrics which are relevant. The rest was like less, just the links, right? With zero DR, zero traffic. That's all. So maybe still a lot of people is using this type of backlinks or referring domains with such metrics.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes you simply need to lower your expectations if nobody else will link to you. I mean, it is what it is, and in the end, it's up to client what they choose. As I said in the beginning, sometimes I would choose a link thinking it's great, and somebody would look at it like I would never buy it because they already linking to my competitor. Well, yeah, if they sell once, they're gonna sell again and again and again.
Could be, but sometimes they are changing their mind. I mean, publishers during the time. So even if we see in the backlink gap analysis that competitors already have the link, probably we could be the option that we cannot purchase the link anymore.
I see that as well. I would try to buy a link and it will be like, no, sorry, they changed their mind. Usually it's around Google algorithms when they are worried that they'll be found out that they're selling, or if they get picked up and they actually lose traffic, they try to clean up and they climb up and sell again. So yeah, it's an endless cycle of offering money for links that might be removed, basically.
But we are talking a lot of about money. In fact, it's not the big challenge because money is a kind of investment which everyone can see if it's worth to invest or not. But I see also the other problems which are even more difficult to handle, like relevance. To find the relevant domains, I'm not talking all about only about iGaming. I'm talking about general publications and general clients. It's not that easy. Relevance is the very big issue nowadays to find the domains which really correspond to the topic of the clients. And sometimes clients have very strict rules about it, and you can hardly find the domain for it.
Very true. I mean, casino is a specific one because you don't really want to buy links from another casino.
You know.
Then you just, like sports is easier. Obviously, you have a sports affiliate, let's say, you can buy links from horse and you can football and wherever. But casino itself is really frustrating. And you need to be quite creative with the link building there. Would you say that iGaming is more difficult for your company to cater for than for, let's say, crypto or Forex?
Definitely it is. Mostly because of the regulations. For us, it's a big issue. We do not want to break the law, so definitely we need to follow the rules. And it's not a secret that we reduce the number of operations with many casinos we did so far.
And do you have a market that is the most successful for you or is most requested from your clients in iGaming?
We operate ac- across the world with many countries. I would say it's changing within the time because you remember just a few years ago there was a huge drive toward Brazil and Latin countries, right? And it was, let's say, pretty easy then that time. Now it's not anymore, so it's changing. Now a lot of people is looking towards APAC, towards the countries in the Far East, and still it seems to be easy because it's not so much penetrated. But again, you see the difficulties to convince the publishers. You convince the difficulties in the local knowledge about how they can monetize the portals. So I wouldn't say that there's any specific region which is difficult. Maybe one thing, maybe Africa. And it's just not just because of the publishers, but it's just because of our rules. As you remember, maybe we are taking responsibility for the links for at least 12 months. So it means we need to trust the publisher that is really working well and it's really able to deliver this link for at least 1 year, at least. So that was the big issue for us in Africa, that we could not find the trusted publishers to really take the responsibility in front of the client. Yeah, because disappearing links, it's something which my clients are experiencing a lot with other platforms, and we don't want to be like that. We would like to be something different. We would like to be sure that the client spending money with us is secure and safe, and he knows that those money are spent for the product which really can survive at least those 12 months.
Fantastic. So what we learned today, iGaming is treated differently from anyone else. If your links disappear or you get rejected, it's not you, it's the market. Because many times you hear it like, my links get rejected. I think it's me. No, don't take it personally. It's just business, right?
Yep. If you find the trusted partners for delivering your links, you will not experience this problem because even if a link is disappearing, we are still responsible for it, we as a WordPress, right? So we offer replacement, we offer the negotiation with the publisher to repair the link, because sometimes the issue is just the technical issue, right? So it's easy to repair, and if nothing works, we offer money back guarantee. And that's what is, I think, important nowadays, not to just buy the link, but be sure that what you are buying is really surviving for longer than just 3 weeks.
Fantastic. Any closing thoughts? Anything that you want people to remember if they are working in iGaming backlinks? That this is something I want you to know when you're doing backlinking.
I would say don't blame providers. Give them the chance to negotiate on your behalf with the publishers. Be patient.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Lots of interesting information, lots of things I didn't know. Wow. Now I sort of start to respect link builders a little bit more after this conversation. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much
very
for
much.
opening my eyes.
Thank you very much.